feel like a lounge singer with this big long cord. Is everybody ready? All right. How are you all feeling? Oh, come on. It's cool. It's cool. Yeah. Aren't you glad we didn't have this in August when it's this hot and about 1,000% humidity? Yeah. Have you all heard some good talks today? Good, good. What's been the favorite? Somebody shout it out. What's been the favorite? Rory? Okay. Who else? Oh, Jill Winger. Yeah. Yeah, I heard somebody puked in her tent. Yeah. Did you? Yeah. Yeah. Daniel. Yeah. Yeah, he had a huge crowd. Yeah. So this is the overflow for Joel Salatin, for all those people who couldn't get in to see him. Thanks for coming. That's a slight joke. I'm Aliceson Bales, and I am going to be talking today about making a life in agriculture work for you. I am the co-owner and operator of Bales Farms in Greene County, Tennessee, and I hope you all are having a good time here. I hope that you are feeling encouraged and you're learning things and you are feeling the joy. Are you all feeling those? Or is everybody like on a mountaintop? You should be. It should be a great, great time. Okay. Well, we are all encouraged to see you here. It is encouraging for me to see your smiling faces because farming is hard. Agriculture is hard. And by definition, the government thinks what we do, family farming, is a high-risk industry. And they say that for several reasons. One reason is because our numbers are dwindling. If you think about society a little over 100 years ago, 90% of the population lived on farms. And today, 1% lives on farms. And of the 99% of Americans who don't live on farms, how many people do you think, or what percentage do you think, raises any food for themselves? What? Less than 0.1%, 0.1. So it's encouraging for me to see people and see all these youngsters, all you cute young people here to carry on the tradition of farming because it's important, right? Yes, it is a little risky. Like I said, the government says that it's high risk. There is some financial risk involved, although that's why you're here to see me. I'm going to teach you about that, and then I'm going to hand it off to my friend Ann Scott, who's going to be teaching about it tomorrow morning, too. She's going to take it and run with it. She may be joining us here in a few minutes. I don't see her in here just yet. But we're going to show you how to take the financial risk out of farming, out of family farming. It's also risky. It's emotionally risky. It's physically risky. A lot of lifting, a lot of heavy labor involved. And we are here to show you all and encourage you all that you can do it. You all can do it. I tell people all the time, listen, I'm the laziest person I know. And if I can make a go of agriculture and I can make a profit in agriculture, anybody can. So that's what I'm going to show you today. It is my passion to help people live the life they are dreaming of. I want you to be successful in this life. And I want you specifically to leave this talk with functional, realistic steps you can take to make your farm work for you and work with you and your family. So the next question is then, or maybe the first question is, what is success? If I'm saying I want you to be successful, what does success look like for you? Because it looks different to everybody, right? It could be Some of you, success would be living off the grid. For some of you, success might be growing 25% of the apples that you eat. Some people want to grow all the food that they would eat. And when my husband and I started really being real deliberate about what we're raising and what we're eating, we wanted to do 25% of the meat we ate. And then we said, well, 50%, and then 100%. And then we wanted to do a little bit more and make a profit. But what does success look for you all? And that's something that I hope that you're thinking about this weekend, and hope that you are talking to your people about this weekend. So I'm going to ask you some questions, because I do want this to be the talk that you all want to hear and the talk that you need to hear. Because I know that it's a sacrifice to be here. I come to these things a whole lot. I'm a physical therapist by education, so I have to go to continuing education courses for physical therapy. And I'm also a farmer, bless you. And everything that I do in my life is research-led and research-based. And so I read a lot. I attend a lot of meetings. I attend a lot of retreats, these kinds of things. And so I like to know my numbers, so I'm going to ask you all some questions. When I get to where you are in life, if you'll just raise your hand. Is there anybody here who this is your first time? Like, I talked to a guy this morning, and he said, we just found out about this a couple of months ago, and gosh, we wanted to come, and we watched this movie called Food Inc., and we want to know more about how to raise food. But they don't have any land yet. Is anybody in that situation? Anybody? Okay, and then is there anybody who is here who owns land but doesn't live there? They are, the dream is maybe to live on your land. Okay, and what about you own your land, you're living on the land, but you don't have any animals yet? Okay, all right, yeah. And then are there people here who live on their land, have animals, and growing their own food? Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. That last year when we asked that question, it was much more like, we have land, we're not living on the land yet. So who came last year? Anybody here last year? I heard Rory ask that question this morning, and like one person said, yep. And everybody, and then he said, are there any kids here? One kid, yep. I was like, wow, tough crowd. Whew. Anyway, okay. Well, that gives me an idea. But do you all want to grow your business? Do y'all want to? Okay, good. Well, then you're in the right tent. Okay. If you're wanting to see Joel or wanting to know how to get your kids involved in ag, this isn't it. Although I've got a kid and he's involved in ag, whether he wants to be or not. So, I'm like my friend Lynn back there. Lynn's got some boys. They're involved in ag, whether they want to or not. Okay, so success. That's what we want to find out. Let me tell you a little bit about what I do, what my husband does. This is a picture of us on our farm. We live in Greene County, Tennessee. It's halfway between Knoxville, Tennessee, and Bristol, Tennessee. So if you're wanting to know where it is. And here's just a picture of us. You'll see some pictures of us as we go through. If you cannot see this screen and you want to move somewhere where you can, I'm totally okay with that. And I asked the powers that be, and they said that once I start, I can make the rules. So if you can't see the screen and you want to move where you can, that's fine. And if you think later that you want to see some of my slides, just come and ask me. After this talk, I'm going to be with Joel and Temple selling. I've got some cookbooks, and so we're going to be out there, and then I'll be here tonight, and I'll be here also tomorrow, so you can find me. I'm easily found. I put this slide in here because this is what I hope people feel when they come to our farm. I hope that they feel joy and peace and accepted and loved and cherished, and I hope that they have some good food. what we raise on our farm, because if you're going to have a business, you need to have products to sell to customers, right? So on our farm, we have grass-fed and grass-finished beef. We also do pasture-raised pork. We have pasture-raised chicken. And then our son has an egg operation. He has had a pastured egg operation since he was 7. And whether he has 5 laying hens or whether he has 500 laying hens, he's always got a wait list. And I tell people every talk I give, so I'm going to say it here too, that if you don't support local ag in your area, wherever you are, if you don't support ag any other way, please buy the eggs. There are some little kids from the school here that are selling eggs. Please buy the eggs. I would say, this is not scientific, I would say at least 95% of the farms that are selling eggs, that 95% of them, that's the kids' business. Because that's the best way to get kids involved in ag. And, who doesn't love chicken? Everybody loves chicken, right? And they're fun. And it's like Easter every day of the year when you got to go out and find the eggs. So it's a good job for kids, and everybody uses eggs pretty much, unless you're allergic to eggs. But if you're not allergic to eggs, pretty much you're using eggs. And farm fresh eggs are generally, you're supporting kids in agriculture, number 1. Number 2, they taste better. Number 3, they're more nutritious. And number 4, they're generally less expensive than the crap that you're buying at the grocery store. So if you don't support ag in any other way, please, please, please buy the eggs. Here's a picture of my son at one of the chicken shows in our county, and you can see he's got a blue ribbon for chicken showmanship. And chicken showmanship that's where the judges come up and they ask the kids questions about anatomy and physiology and of chicken specifically, and then animal husbandry in general. And so he won first place in that. His chicken sadly did not win first place because they came to me and they said she is overweight. And which was terribly upsetting to her, of course. But I said, she's on pasture. How can she be overweight? Like, she's basically eating salads, which is also a warning for all of us, and why I try never to eat salad. Because if a chicken can get fat on salad, then I can't do. But that's what we do on our farm. So here's what we do off our farm. We do certain things off farm to remind people that we are there, that we exist. And we do certain things off farm to push people on farm. One thing we offer is a podcast. It's called the Bales Farms Podcast. Everything we do is Bales Farms. And you can either look at that and go, whew, she's really lazy, which I am. But you can say she's really not very original, which is also true. But everything that we do says Bales Farms on it. And the reason why we do that, and the reason why I recommend that, is that as you are building your business, people are not going to remember you. Like, people are so busy in life, right? They're going to take little Susie to gymnastics. Bobby's got to go to baseball. They got to do homework with the kids. They've got to get everybody in bed. They've got to cook supper. They got to get up in the morning, go to work, go to school, blah, 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 do it all over again, right? And so they're not going to remember me. You all are not going to remember my name, right? You're going to be like that woman who was up there and talking, but I can't remember her name. But you might remember her name was something to do with like bales of hay, right? And then you go, oh, okay, I'm just going to look up that. I'm just going to look at Bales Farms. And then lo and behold, everything pops up, right? So when you are thinking about what are we going to name our business, make sure that it is something they can remember, that it's something that you can easily duplicate, and that they can spell, that they can Google. I have some really good friends, and they have a farm, and their farm is a German name. And it is really hard to Google that, because very few people where we live speak German. And so they have a hard time getting people to get to their website. But if you have something like the farm at Spring Creek, or if you have something like Bales Farms, right? It's easy. Oh, yeah, I can remember that. Or you can at least get close enough to where it'll go, right? To where Google or AI will get you there. But anyway, so Bales Farms Podcast. It's a monthly podcast featuring interviews with people in regenerative ag, like Dr. Alan Williams. Do y'all know Alan Williams? Anybody? He's a wealth of knowledge for regenerative ag. And if you're into that, you might want to look him up. But we also do episodes where we talk about the food that we produce, whole chicken. Probably 5 times a week, somebody calls me and says, I just don't know what to do with this whole chicken. I just don't know how to prepare a whole chicken. So I walk them through that. And so we had an episode about that on the podcast. This latest episode is an interview that my husband did with our butcher because we wanted him to be able to tell his story. We wanted him to be able to answer questions and to kind of demystify maybe the world of butchers and what they need from us and what they need from the general consumer, right, who is not necessarily spending their lives with animals. So that's our podcast. I'm also a monthly contributor to Tennessee Farm Table. It's a real popular podcast/radio show in Tennessee, obviously. Amy Campbell is the hostess of that podcast. She's a very popular radio host in East Tennessee in the Knoxville area. We have a blog on our website. We're guests on other podcasts like That Sounds Fun with Annie F. Downs, Dad Drink Repeat, More Than a Mile, other food-related, ag-related podcasts, family-related, faith-related podcasts. And then we have some social media channels. All those things point people back to our website and back to us. Our YouTube channel is very, very seldomly used, but I'll talk about that in a few minutes. And then in 2021, I released a cookbook, and that came about because people would read the blog and they would say, you need to put out a cookbook. And they did that for long enough that I said, okay, I'm willing to talk to somebody about it. And so we started talking to a big publisher about that, and that went nowhere because, well, I shouldn't say that went nowhere. They said, you have a story to tell. This would be great. Send it in, and we will publish it in 3 years. So it'll come out in 3 years. And there were a couple of reasons for that. One is it was during COVID. Another reason is because I am not the demographic that makes people a lot of money. We'll just say. I mean, I'm almost 50, and I've been married for 25 years, and I live in the South, and those things are not really popular right now. So for big publishers. So my husband is a songwriter and has always owned his own publishing. He owns his own words. And so he said, well, why wouldn't we just do that? It's the same thing. It's just more words. Are y'all staying for the music tonight? For the concerts? Woo! Okay. He's not playing with the Malpas brothers, but he's playing with other people, and then he'll be on there on stage tomorrow night. So he's the one, and he's the big tall guy in the back playing the bass that never really speaks. But anyway, so he also writes some songs. He writes a bunch that you've never heard probably, unless anybody here a bluegrass fan? Any bluegrassers in here? Okay. Who do y'all like? Bluegrassers? Who do you like? Did you raise your hand? Do you like bluegrass? Okay, who do you like? Ricky Skaggs? Okay. Yeah. He's okay. He's okay. Yeah. Anybody else? I'll tell him you said so. Anybody else? You're on the spot. Yeah. Anyway, so he's written a bunch of songs that you've never heard of unless you really like bluegrass. But he's also written a bunch of songs with Chris Stapleton, who now is kind of popular. But So he's always owned his own words, and he said, why wouldn't we just own our own words and self-publish? And so that's what we did, and it was put out in November of 2021. And as we went through the process, I was still dragging my feet. And he said, well, who are we going to get to write the foreword? And honestly, I was not even thinking about that. I didn't really even probably know there would be a foreword. And so he said, well, let's try to get Dolly. So we roped Dolly Parton into looking at it. We called her. We didn't rope her in. She lives her life to be a blessing to everybody else throughout the day. People who can never bless her back. I think she wakes up in the morning and she says, how can I be a blessing to people who can never do anything for me? And who lives in the state of Tennessee? Who has kids who have gotten Dolly's books every month until they went to kindergarten in the state of Tennessee for free? She's amazing. She is amazing, amazing, amazing. And so anyway, we asked her, and she said, well, yeah, just send me the book. So we had to go to our little printer and print a rough copy of the cookbook and send it to her. And because she didn't want to look at it on the computer, although she's very good on the computer. And then she sent us back this sweet little note. And then she also sent back a letter, and she said, you don't have to use this as a forward if you don't want to. You can just use it like as a blurb. And I said, I'm going to use every dot of every I, every cross of every T, every comma, and I'm going to lift your autograph, and I'm going to put it in the book. So if you buy the book, you will get Dolly Parton's autograph, which is really worth your $30. So I'll have it over there with me if you want to just look through or whatever. But Garden and Gun is a magazine. Do y'all know Garden and Gun? It's a magazine that's kind of the top tier of Southern living, is what I say. They put it out to be like a cookbook, a coffee table book type of magazine. Anyway, so they chose it as one of their 12 favorite cookbooks of 2021. So that was really sweet of them. But the cookbook is an example of branching out, stepping out of your comfort zone and trying new things. Because if somebody had told me 5 years ago that I would put out a cookbook, I would have said, you are insane. You're insane. But anyway, we did. And it's brought some things to our family. One is The Sporting Chef, which is a national and now even international TV show. The way streaming services are, it is a cooking show where different taste makers come together, and we cook things like one episode will be on Thanksgiving meal. One episode might be on like appetizers or Southern cooking. But it's been on for they're taping their 23rd season. This is my third season with them. It airs on first run on the Outdoor Channel, second run on Sportsman's Channel, third run on Amazon Prime, and then it's released to YouTube, as everything is. Also, Ranch America is a TV show that features family farms and family ranches in America. And Barry wrote, produced, engineered, and performed the music for that show. They are taping their second season, and Barry's going to be on that. It's brought speaking engagements. I speak locally and regionally and nationally for different groups. It's also brought a lot of other TV shows, interviews, podcast interviews, that type of thing, just growing the brand. And we consult now, which is something that we did not do pre-cookbook. We consult together. We work with new farmers who have questions, who want us to come out, and sometimes we work together, and sometimes we work independent. Barry is a guru with grasses, and that'd be good to put on a business card. I'm a guru with grasses. But you have to watch your audience, though, probably, of who you were giving that to, I guess. But anyway, so sometimes somebody just wants us to come out and, look at their grasses that they're grazing and how they can get rid of certain grasses and grow other grasses. And I am no help with that, really. But Barry is. And so sometimes we work together, sometimes we work independent in consulting, but things change. You may become known for something that you didn't even think you would be known for as you create the business that you're wanting to create. So this is just another reminder that it can be hard, a life in ag, but that's why we're all here. to be encouraged and to learn and to leave here joyful and knowing that we can do it, right? It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You will need to figure out how to make it work for you, or you will burn out quickly. I can't tell you how many people. So I've been married 25 years. We live on a farm that's been in my husband's family since 1882, so a little older than Yellowstone, if you watch that show. But we have seen a lot of people come up and start a business, and man, they're going to do everything. They are going to milk those cows twice a day. They're going to get goats. They're going to do meat birds. They're going to do eggs. They're going to do everything in the whole wide world. They're going to make butter. They're going to make ice cream. They're going to make yogurt. They're going to do everything. And then they end up wearing themselves out, hating each other, and I don't want that to happen to anybody here. There's no reason for that to happen. You just need to figure out what works for you and do that and let the other stuff go. And that's what we're going to figure out. So the first thing that you need to do, that I'm going to tell you to do this weekend, is as you are sitting around waiting at the food trucks tonight, or waiting, were the lines long today? I heard some laughs about that. Okay. It seemed like it was moving pretty quickly though, was it? Okay, what's the best food? Because I haven't eaten. So what's the best food? The one I can get. Well, I heard that the chicken one was really good. The local chicken was good. Anybody have that? No? Don't tell me juices. It was I did hear the juice place was really good. Yeah, and I'll probably hit that up tomorrow. But okay, anything else that I've got to get? You all are not. Yeah. Okay, did y'all hear that? Avocado toast with goat cheese and what else? Tomatoes. Yeah. So, okay. That's what we'll get. That's what everybody's going to get for supper. They're going to sell it out. But, okay, so these are questions that as you're waiting for food, as you're waiting for the music to start tonight, I want you, and as you're sitting around tonight in your hotel room or in the camper, RV, wherever you are, Airbnb, wherever you are, I want you to talk about these questions, which are very simple, and the answers, which are very complex, with the people that you came with. Why are you doing this? This is the first question that you need to ask as you're thinking about a life in ag and building a business in ag. Why are you doing this? It's the first and the primary question you need to answer. Your why is the most important question that you will ever answer. Why are you doing this? Are you wanting to get out of the rat race? Do you want to give your children a better life, a better childhood than you had, or your grandchildren? Do you want to be self-sufficient? Are you wanting to live off-grid? Are you fleeing trauma? Are you fleeing the government? These are all questions that you need to answer. The second one is, who are you? You have all heard these questions before, the old who, what, when, where, why. So who are you? Are you a land-owning family farm? Are you going to rent? Are you going to have a brick and mortar and you are going to have one product or two products that you sell, like buying raw milk from a local farmer and turning that into cheese or butter? Who are you going to be? And what do you provide? What is your product? What do you do better than anyone else? What do people come to you for? This is also a very, very, very important question, because if you don't solve a problem, you don't have a product, right? Everybody's got a problem, and they are coming to you to solve that problem. Like for us, okay, I'll tell you this little story. As we go along, I'm going to tell you things that we've done that's worked for us, things that we have done that haven't worked for us, and things probably that we should have done that would have worked. There's this gal in our little town, and she was a babysitter for us when our son was a baby, and now she is actually a mom. And she's gone to college, and she's come back, and nothing makes you feel older. Am I right? Than when the babysitters of your kids start having kids. Anyway, and I saw her in the grocery store one day, and I could tell she had a bee in her bonnet. And she said, "Look at this," and she showed me. And there had been glass. She found glass in her chicken breasts. And she wasn't buying the crap chicken breast. She wasn't buying the stuff in the can or anything, or like, the stuff that's marked down to 99 cents. She was buying, it was a big, nice, I won't say, but it was a big, nice national brand of chicken breast. And when she cut into it, which, most people just prepare their chicken breast whole, but she has kids, so she was cutting them into chicken fingers. And, so she cut into them, and she found glass, and it was literal glass in there. And so she was really upset for obvious reasons and a couple of reasons. And she said, "I'm really embarrassed that I'm not buying chicken from you." But she said, I just don't know that I can afford your chicken. But now, guess who is now my customer? This gal, because thankfully, there's no glass in my chicken, right? we don't have that. And so she comes to me because she has known me for years. She has seen me walk the life that I walk the road that I walk in life. She knows she can trust me. She knows that I'm honest. And yeah, I'm more expensive than maybe Walmart. But it's safe. It's good. It's nutritious. It's delicious food. And that's why she comes to me. So what problem did I solve of hers? I solved the problem of questionable meat, right? And, harming her children with products that are in her meat. So what problem do you solve? Again, if you don't solve a problem, you don't have a product. When you figure out what problem you solve, you will have figured out your product. And you need to know your market, because some people think, oh, this is a problem that I'm solving. But actually, it's not. And I'm going to show you some pictures of some things that we've done and some things that other people around us have done that haven't worked too well. So again, we provide grass-fed and grass-finished beef, pastured pork, pastured poultry, pastured eggs, and multiple non-perishable products like hats, T-shirts, handmade charcuterie boards. We even have taco holders, and guess what? Because somebody saw a picture of that stuff, and they were like, "Hey, would you sell that?" "You bet I will." My dad is a great woodworker, and so like the taco holders, he made me these little taco holders, and I was like, "What in the world?" And I just popped them up with some street tacos in them one night, and we had people coming out of the woodwork asking for those. So now he makes taco holders. We also have the cookbook. What we don't offer, because we have learned better, goats. Several years ago, multiple years ago, we were talking with some of our county agents from a land-based university. And they said, "Oh, you need goats. Goats are going to solve your problem. They're going to be so great. They're going to eat everything that you don't want, and they're going to be so fun. And then in the spring, you're going to sell them to a company that's going to take them away, and they're going to go to Pennsylvania, and you will just have a wonderful time with goats." And we got goats, and they were not wonderful. And does anybody in here have goats? I'm sure. Do y'all love your goats? Do y'all love your goats? Okay. Our goats were monsters. And one day I came home from church, for instance. This is just one day I came home from church. My husband was on the road. My son was with my parents. No goats. Couldn't find the goats. Could not find the goats. Couldn't find the goats. So then I go down to get the eggs. The goats are in the chicken tractor. So we had at that time the little, the ones that you all know that Joel Salatin told us to make, which worked great when we had a small child who could climb down in there. And so they're wonderful. We've had them. We've had them a lot. We don't have them anymore. I showed you all a picture of my chicken tractors that we have now. But back then, so you got the little 12x12 chicken tractor, and I was like, "What is going on?" Because the top was all caved in. I looked down in there. Bunch of goats in there. So I got goats that are freaking out. I got chickens that are mad, and all of my eggs are smashed. So I literally thought, I'm going to kill these goats. I'm going to kill them right here. And then I thought, well, if I kill the goats, because I'm a good shot, and I thought if I kill the goats, then it's just going to be real bloody in there. And then I'm going to have to get the dead goats out of there. And then I'm going to have to clean the chickens, all this stuff. So anyway, I got the goats out. I had to, lift them out of there. Goats lived for another day. And then we ended up giving them away because they were such a problem. Because guess what? Guess who wouldn't buy the goats? The people who were going to take them up to Pennsylvania. So that was, and we found out. So we tried to sell the goats. We tried to sell them live. We were going to process them for the meat. No, nobody wanted the goats. We just don't have a market for goat meat. And so that was one thing that we learned. Two things that we learned. Don't listen to other people. And don't rush into a product when there is no market. Same thing with sheep. I love sheep. I love them. I love to see sheep in a field in the spring. I love them. There's nothing that is more peaceful to me. I just love it. I love them. And so we got sheep. And what I learned about sheep, I learned several things. One was they're always looking for a way to get sick or die. Oh, and then the goats, every day they'd get stuck in the fence. Every single day they get their horns stuck in the fence. And every day I'd go down there and I'd get them out. And I would always tell them, you got to learn. You got to learn. They never learned. So anyway, but sheep, what I learned about sheep was they're always trying to get out. They're hard to get back in, much harder than a pig or a cow, in my opinion, or a chicken, because you can just scoop them up. And, man, it was hard to get them from 100 pounds to 115 pounds because it was grass-fed, grass-finished lambs, sheep. And then we realized that our market was not as big as we thought it was going to be with lamb meat. Our chefs would buy it all day long, and they're wonderful, and we love our chefs. But I didn't want to sell 100% of a product at wholesale. So even though the sheep, even though I really like them, that's something that we've let go because the market is not so great where we live. And then I just thought that picture of Marshall with our little dog, Jack, with the goat photo bomb, I just thought that was funny. I've always thought that was funny. But here's a picture of one of our friend's products. We have a friend who moved to our area from Asheville. And she was the head chocolatier at, I believe, at Biltmore. Either Biltmore or Grove Park Inn, but I believe Biltmore. But anyway, super, super, super fancy place. And her chocolate was the best chocolate I've probably ever had. It was amazing. It was beautiful. I mean, look at it. It's gorgeous. And it was a little expensive. And so it was a luxury product. And she thought, oh, yeah, for sure. This will go. This went in Asheville. We're just an hour away. It'll go. And it did go around the holidays. But then when she got past the holidays and into January, February was good, right? Valentine's Day, you got a little spike. Then March and April, May and June and July, August. There's nobody buying your product, right? Because you've got really expensive chocolate. It's delicious. It's the best chocolate you've ever had in your life. I mean, honestly. But when you live in a rural area, sometimes you don't have a market for luxury products. And that's what she realized. And then we also have some friends who moved from the Pacific Northwest and moved to rural Greene County to start a farm, a flower farm. And they have the most beautiful flowers ever. They are so lovely to work with. They are some of our best friends. She is one of my very best friends. And they held on for several years. They did CSAs. They were in the farmers market. And they finally both now, they're still growing some flowers for themselves and for their friends, but for the general population, they no longer offer flowers. They're not doing CSAs. They both now have off-farm jobs and she said to me one night, she said, I thought that people would make joy a priority. And she would always say that. She would say that she was a purveyor of joy. She would bring flowers, which would make people so happy. And she also had a little bakery. And she just thought people would make that a priority, and they didn't. And so she is an example of someone who started a business, didn't have a market for that business, and now she's doing something else. So know your market. I don't want that to happen to you all. The next question is when? When will you provide your product? Are you going to be a year-round producer, or are you going to be seasonal? We try pretty hard not to have animals on our farm in the dead of winter if we can help it. Sometimes, obviously, we have to, but we try not to. I mean, we've always got laying hens. We only do meat birds in the summer, obviously, April to like October, because they just don't want to live in our area in the winter. We've done them into December, but that was a little hard to keep them alive. Anybody do meat birds here? They're always wanting to die, aren't they? They always want to die. We say that's the hardest work that we do, is moving them, feeding them, watering them, keeping them alive. How will you produce your product? Now we're going to talk about scaling versus adding. Some lessons I've learned. If you have a successful practice of, let's say, raising beef, you can scale your numbers to double or triple without adding too much work, but adding a lot of profit. So let's say that you do 5 head of beef a year for your family. Unless you have saturated your market, and I doubt you have, you could easily, if you have the land, you could easily do 10, so double it, or even do 15 beef cows, and you could keep the 5 that you are needing for your family, and then you would have 10 animals worth of beef to sell. And let's say that you sell them at, let's say you get them all ground beef, and let's say that the live weight is 1,200 pounds, and you take them in, and they're grass-fed, grass-finished, and you dry age them, and you come home with, I don't know, let's say you've got 800 pounds of ground beef. You get them all in ground beef. And you sell that ground beef at $8 a pound times 5 animals or times 10 animals. You can do the math, right? Y'all can do the math and see how much profit you would be making, right? So not only are you eating for free, but you're also making a little profit. I put up here what I just said about I doubt that you have saturated your market. Some people say, but I still have beef in my freezer. And I maintain that a lot of times on us, and I'm pointing at myself too, if you still have beef in your freezer, it's not that you've saturated the market, because 97% of people in America do not get their food the way we produce their food, okay? 97% of Americans are not getting their food from farmers, from the farm. They're not getting it from the farm. So, they're either buying it in the grocery store, or they've got a subscription box thing, or they're doing online somehow. So I know that you can do some advertising. You can push your product, and you can sell more than you think you can. I'm living proof of that. So if you haven't saturated your market, it's easier to scale the products that you have than it is to add products. 80% of your business will come from 20% of your customers. So your top customers will be your best and most loyal. Always remember that. Once you have saturated your market, it's good to add new products. Or if you have people asking for new products, a la the cookbook. I did not have plans to do that. People kept asking for that. Has it been a success? Yeah. Am I on the New York Times bestseller list? No. I self-published. I'm not going to ever do that, right? But, in my little world, it's provided a source of income for us. Be flexible. Be accommodating. If people are begging you for something, then do it. In moderation. For instance, we had some people who said, we only eat chicken breast. We only eat boneless, skinless chicken breast. And if you would give us boneless, skinless chicken breast, we would be your customer. And those were early days in our business. And I was like, okay, yeah, okay. And so we did. And then guess what they said? It's too expensive. It's too expensive. We can get a Walmart and we can get it for much cheaper. And so they weren't my customers anyway. So why chase them? So that was a new product that we offered. I mean, I will say we totally sold out of chicken breasts, even though the new people didn't come over. Because people do want, for some reason, boneless, skinless chicken breast, which I always say that's the least flavorful part of the chicken, but okay, if that's what you want. So we did parts and pieces, and for years we did parts and pieces. And we sold the heck out of chicken breast and chicken wings. I mean, we sold them like I would put them on the website or our email list. They would be gone in 30 minutes. But then we had all these drumsticks. What are we going to do with all these drumsticks, right? You got all this stuff that people don't want. So we sold all those at wholesale. But now we only offer whole chicken. It's whole chicken. I'll teach you how to prepare the best chicken you've ever eaten in your life. Or you can go to Walmart and get your chicken for whatever you're gonna buy your chicken for at Walmart. But anyway, so be accommodating, be flexible, be mindful of who your customers are and who your customers aren't. I've found that the pickiest people who call, I've found usually now that we've been doing this for long enough, I can talk to somebody for about 30 seconds and I know whether they're going to be my customer or not. If they say to me or to you when you are doing your business, if they say, if the first question is how much, they're not my customer. Because you cannot expect to pay basement prices and get the level of animal husbandry that I give my animals, or my husband gives our animals, or you all give your animals. You're not Walmart. You're not Amazon. You are not going to be them. You're not going to beat them in price, and you're not going to beat them in accessibility. The only way we're going to beat them is in relationship and the quality of our products. And if you provide both of those, if you provide a good relationship and good quality, they will not leave you. They will stay with you. So how will you provide your products? Where will you provide your product? Here are some things that we do right now. We do local pickup and delivery. Here's a customer took a picture of me sitting there at one of our local pickups. We have pop-ups locally, so local pickup, local delivery. Deliveries we do throughout East Tennessee, and we even come to Nashville every once in a while. If you're going to do deliveries, I always recommend, that's a game changer for people, especially during COVID. When we were running in COVID, I was delivering to about everybody, and they would leave. Some people, y'all know. I mean, you had extremes, right? The people who were like, "Oh, I'm gonna leave my cooler out front. Don't ring the doorbell. Don't bring your germs anywhere near me. Just leave it there, and I'll go and pick it up." And then there were people who were like, "Come on in. We're gonna have a party." So I was just accommodating, and I was flexible. And if you wanted to leave your cooler out, okay, I'll pack your cooler. If you want me to come in and pack your freezer, okay. There's a minimum amount. I'm not going to bring a dozen eggs to Nashville. I live 4 hours away. But if you buy $3,000 of my product, you better believe I'll come to your house and I'll deliver to you. So deliveries work really well. On-farm pickups are always an option for people who need or want to come and see our farm. A lot of people do. Then shipping, we ship non-perishable. We have online shopping and online farmers markets. We're in very select grocery stores. We used to be in more grocery stores, and we used to be in a lot of restaurants. Pre-COVID, in February, the first week of February of 2020, I would go to Knoxville, which is an hour from us, and they have a great food scene. If anybody's in Knoxville, Old City is amazing. They have great restaurants, and we were in every restaurant in that area in Old City, and so I would hit Knoxville at 8:00 in the morning on Thursdays, and I would be there till 1, just hitting the restaurants, just going from one restaurant to the other. And the chefs would feed me, and we would, I would give them the product, I would pack it for them, whatever they needed me to do, and it was amazing. And then it changed very, very, very quickly. The restaurant shut down, our retail business picked way up, and since then our retail business has just kept going, and we don't really need the restaurants anymore. So we're not in very many restaurants anymore. It's a very select, like you have to be a really good chef for me to say, yeah, I'll come down, I'll bring you some product, but I will occasionally. And there are really good restaurants and really good chefs who will be worth that, and then there are a lot who aren't. So know the difference, learn them very early on. Here's some phenomenal chefs, rock stars that we've had the pleasure of working with. And then we have a website. This day and time, I think everybody needs to have a website for every business. Here's their landing page. So now that you know more, now that you've kind of answered those questions, the who are you, why are you doing this, what are you going to do, how are you going to do it, are you going to scale products that you already offer, are you going to add new products, where will you be, if I didn't say when, that's the other question. So now that you've thought about those, and so this is your homework to go and talk about these with your people, it's time to figure out to whom you're selling. It's called your ideal customer. Do y'all know about your ideal customer? Everybody know about that? No, yes, no, yes, no. So your ideal customer is who you're thinking about as you are thinking about selling. Who are you going to sell to? You need to know your ideal customer. My ideal customer's name is Jenny. And Jenny has been in my life for a lot of years. And she's a nurse. She has 2 kids, 2 boys. And a husband and a dad. Actually, her dad has just passed away. She would buy him all kinds of, she bought almost all of our sausage because he loved it. But Jenny, it's really important to Jenny to give her kids nutritional food, and food that is safe, and food that she can depend on. And so she makes the sacrifice to buy my food. And so Jenny is, I know Jenny's age. I know kind of the income range. I don't know her exact range, but I know what her husband does, and I know that she's a nurse, so I know that she has money to purchase quality food. I know her likes and I know her dislikes. And you need to know that too, because your ideal customer, that's who you're talking to when you are constructing emails or when you are writing something for your blog. Or when you're on a podcast, you're thinking about who's my ideal customer. Like, for instance, there's no reason, I have a farm, there's 0 reason for me to be on Snapchat because my customers are not on Snapchat. And the people who are on Snapchat are not going to be my customers, right? They're eating Taco Bell. They're like my son. They're eating Taco Bell at, as late as they can get out. Woo. So now that you have the picture in your head of your ideal customer, think about that. Think about who you're selling to. You need to think about, okay, well, where do they buy products? How do they buy their products? Where are they looking for inspiration? Okay? Where they hang out online and where they look for inspiration, you need to do the same. And what problem does your ideal customer have that you can solve? Because everybody's got issues, so what issues can you help solve? And now you just need to be there. You have to make your customers aware that you exist and remind them continually that you exist. You work hard to produce your products. You all are doing the most important work. So you are producing food, whether it's vegetables or fruit or cheese or raw milk or meat. You are producing the most important products in America today. And you need to move those actual products to actual people, or else you're just going to be sitting there with a bunch of product on your shelves. It's all about relationships. You can move products through in-person or online marketing, okay? And customer service is all about relationships. So here's some in-person options for selling your products, how to get your products in their hands. Farmers markets. Anybody do farmers markets around here? Yeah, a few. Okay, I just need to check the time. There's a huge debate with farmers markets, right? Huge debate. What I say about farmers markets are that they're great ways to set up shop easily. If you are a new business or you're new in a town, you can find customers. It's low-hanging branches and fruit. It's easy to pick. You can find customers easily. It's one day a week, right? It's just one day a week. It's one day a week. It's one day a week. Oh, it's all day. It's all day. It's hot like this. Or it's raining. Or it's windy and the thing keeps blowing down. The tent keeps blowing down. And in my opinion, the research that I've done, people only buy for 1 or 2 meals. Okay, y'all have all seen Joel Salatin. Have y'all heard his bit on that? It's very famous. I mean, it's true about Fifi and the coffee. You know, they're walking around with their little dog Fifi in their hands, and they got a coffee in the other hand. How are they going to carry your product, right? And what I know is that in my experience, they're not going to buy a 5-pound chicken and walk around with that 5-pound chicken, right? Because they've got the dog and they've got the coffee. So, but if you were doing, tomatoes or lettuce, it's probably something really good to think about. Pop-up shops. I will say this about pop-up shops. So we do pop-up shops once a month at a cute little shop that is open. Sometimes I do them twice a month. It's a cute little shop in our area, and I'm there for an hour. And you come and you can come and pick up your order. You can order ahead of time, and you can come at that pop-up shop 5 to 6, and you can pick it up. Or if it's busy. Everybody's busy, right? Everybody's busy. So if you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot to order, and I don't have anything for supper tonight. Well, you can come and get pork chops from me, okay? And so I take about 10% extra and sell that. And I will say in 1 hour at a pop-up shop, the least amount that we've ever done, the least amount is $1,000. So then I look at, okay, I'm making $1,000, and I advertise those pop-up shops. Okay, the first pop-up shop we ever did, I started a build-up to launch 6 weeks before, and every week I would take a picture of the address, one number of the address. It was 140 West Depot Street. I would take 1, and then the next week a 4, and then the next week a 0. And people really got into that. They really got into a build up to launch. So if you're thinking about how do I grow a business, that's one way, build up to launch. And by the time that pop-up shop rolled around, man, people were coming there. They were so excited to see something. And now, people are excited about new businesses in your small towns or even in your big towns, because so many businesses have closed because of COVID. So they're really, really, really excited to see things. And they will come to a pop-up shop, especially if it's just an hour, and I'm making $1,000 at the least, versus I know that we have 3 really two now, 2 farmers markets in our little town. And I'm friends with the people who run the more successful farmers market. And so I've just asked them, because they're always asking me, would you come? No, I don't, no. And we'll get into that in a minute, why I've got 5 big reasons why I don't. But I said, what's your average vendor take home? $125. Okay, well, so then I know that they are they're getting there at like 7:30 or 8, right? And we have a later farmer's market. It starts later. But I know some of them, you're starting at 7, you're ending at 2. Okay, that's a 7-hour work week or 7-hour day, right? And then you gotta set up, you gotta load in, you've gotta take down, you've gotta take everything out when you get home. That's like a 9-hour work day, and I'm making $125 for the whole thing. I mean, when you look at that hourly wage, that is low. That's very low. I mean, that's close to like $12 an hour, right? But I can go to this pop-up and I can advertise it out the wazoo, and I can get people to go ahead and purchase. I know exactly what to take. I take it. I don't take anything home. There's nothing to unload. There's nothing to set up or take down, because they know where I'm going to be. They know I'm going to be in this same location that I am in every month at this same business. So it's easy in, easy out, much, much, much more profitable. Pickup schedules. Set a schedule online. If you want to pick up from me, if you want to pick up products from me, the owner, I am in certain locations every week. You can access our pickups locations and our schedules online, and you can see the whole year. When you order, you see the whole year. You pick exactly when you want to pick up, the date, time, everything. Okay? It's easy. You just set it online. It's online. It's easy. Delivery, it's kind of a pain when you first set it up, because you have to go in and click everything. But now, everything's computerized. It's a little bit easier. But delivery options, again, we deliver for a certain amount. You set your minimum dollar amount and your maximum mileage amount. Again, I'm not bringing a dozen eggs to Nashville, so don't even ask me. Ricky Skaggs, don't ask me to be bringing the eggs to Nashville. You got to buy that whole cow, baby. You got to buy it. You and Sharon, you got to buy it. Local and regional grocery stores, I've said that. We're in some of them still. Restaurants can be great ways to get your products to people who will advertise them. They're not going to give you 100%. It's not going to be retail. But you can probably get 80%. I mean, I feel like everybody will give you 80%, all the chefs. If they're good, they'll give you 80%. I will say this. So our son has the egg business, and it was a longer story than what we've got time for here. But anyway, my nephew lived with us during college. He decided he wanted to do pastured eggs when he graduated on a big scale, on a commercial scale. So we bought him 500 hens, laying hens, and then 3 months later, he decided he was not going to do that anymore. It's too much work. And so our 10-year-old said, we were like, oh, what are we going to do? And then our 10-year-old said, I'll do it. And that really pleased me to see his work ethic come out. But also, we didn't expect that, but he did it. And so he was in grocery stores, and restaurants and all this stuff, and I'd take him down to Knoxville. And then he was about to turn 16, and we needed to buy another. We have been through several years of these chickens, so we needed to buy another round of the chickens. And we knew that he would be gone before these would be done. And I tried to talk my friend Erin back there into taking these chickens and letting her boys run that business, because you can make some bank doing pastured eggs that way. But anyway, so we said, well, what do you want to do? You've been doing this for long enough. If you want to go down and sell a bunch of your chickens and only have retail eggs, that's fine. And that's what he chose to do. And he's 16. He needs to have a life. And so he did that, and the chefs still, at least once a month, I'll have the chefs text me and say, will you just tell Marshall we really miss his eggs? And they say, we understand. I mean, they're great. So the chefs who are good are really good, and they're going to remember you and the work that you've done and how much you put into it. And so deal with them. Don't deal with the guys. Like my husband wanted to be in restaurants so bad when we started. And we would have these meetings, which I'm not French. Not me. I would have these meetings with chefs, right? I would set up these meetings, and we would have the appointment, right? It's like the Seinfeld. You can take the reservation, you don't know how to hold the reservation. So anyway, we would have these meetings on the schedule, and then they couldn't show up. I called one of them one time. I'm driving an hour, buddy. I'm driving an hour. I'm down here. I've paid for parking. I'm here. I'm getting my hair cut, is what he said. I was like, well, I didn't tell him, but I was like, off the list, buddy. So then he calls me like 3 months later, begging me to come back and meet with him. I was like, no. I've got a haircut. He didn't get it, but I did. And I really didn't say it. But anyway, I was like, no. Like, if they don't respect you and the work that you do, because you are doing the work, you're doing the most important work. If you don't provide them a product, they're not going to have a restaurant. If they don't respect you and respect that, then they don't deserve your products, okay? The good ones will take products that are hard to sell. They'll take the beef tongue and the kidneys and the liver and all those things that other people go, ooh, I don't want that. And they will make lovely dishes out of it that people will pay lots of money for. And they will pay you lots of money and give you great advertising for it. So, again, don't go chasing after the chefs. You can also move products at crafts fairs, book fairs, youth curriculum fairs. And then, so that's in person. Now, online audience gathering and growing. Websites and social media channels are free-ish advertising and can tell your story and grow your brand if you are willing to play their game. I said before, I'll say it again, that no matter what your business is in this day and time, you need a website. If you have a business, it is my opinion that you need a website. If you want to have a business that is viable and that grows, you are going to have a website. You got to have somebody, some way for people to come and look at you, because people are not going to be your customers if they don't have a way to check you out and see who you are. Your website is a place for you to tell your story to people. They can be expensive to build and maintain. This is our third one. Our first one, my husband built. Our second one, we paid somebody off-site to build, but it did not have a very good e-commerce platform. And then this one, we did a lot of research. We now have a different one, and it's got a really nice e-commerce platform. It's not perfect. I haven't found anything that is perfect, really. Except for Jesus, of course, but I haven't found anything online that's perfect. E-commerce does account for 70% of all the shopping in America. All shopping done across America, all of it, when you look at it together, 70% of it, 70% of all shopping is done online. I didn't say that exactly right, but 70% of all shopping in the United States is done online. Our sales are 90% online, at least. Social media channels. People either love them or hate them, right? But it's a place for you to tell your story. Not everybody's going to see it. Okay? Not everybody's going to see it if you share it every single day. But I would hope that this weekend, what I would encourage you all to do, as well as answer those questions, is find seven people here and say, what's your Instagram, or what's your, whichever one you want to do. I like Instagram better. And we'll go through the reasons why here in a minute, but, get with 7 different people here and exchange information so you all can follow each other and encourage each other and teach each other and spread joy. So are you on social media? Yeah. No. Okay. Okay. What's your social media?
We live Pastor's Farm on Facebook.
Moonlit Pastures Farm on Facebook. Who are you on social media? Yeah, were you here when I said I don't see her? She must not be here. Okay. Well, I said you'd be joining us, but she just got done speaking, and she's a rock star. Okay, tell everybody who you are on Instagram. Did everybody hear that? A farm girl in the making. So a farm girl in the making. Who follows her here? Raise your hand. Yeah. She's got a great following. Yeah, she does a great job on social media. So let's say that that you went to her Instagram page, right? Okay, you've never heard of her. You're going to go see her tomorrow morning at 10:30. I've got it written down. 10:30 is right? I think I've got it written down here. But you're going to go see her for the next leg of this growing business talk, and you just go and find her on Instagram tonight. You're going to look at what? You're going to see like 9 posts, right? And you might scroll down a little bit, right? But you're not going to go back to 2017, where she introduced herself to her audience. Or I don't know if it was 2017, whenever it was when you first opened it. So you need to tell your story over and over and over to people on social media. They're not going to see all the posts. Nobody is. It's not perfect. It's not 100%, but it is free. It's free advertising. Tell your story. So, research shows people have to have 7 to 12 interactions with you online before they trust you enough to become your customer. Who buys from, like, if you go into a really nice store, it's very infrequent that you would buy something from someone the very first time that you went into their store or saw them, right? If you're going to go, if you're like coming down here yesterday, we came down, I was starving. My husband was not feeding me. And I was like, please, let's eat. So we got on, what is it? TripAdvisor. We got on TripAdvisor, right? Yeah. He got on Yelp, which I've heard that they pay for stuff. So I don't know that it's really legit. So anyway, we got on TripAdvisor and I was like, okay, here are the top 3 restaurants. Let's pick one, right? I didn't leave it to chance. And so very few people do that anymore. They want to have interaction with you, and 7 to 12 interactions online. I have a really good friend who has a boutique, and she is great at social media. She's very young. She's 25. And anybody in here 25 or less than 25? Oh, how sweet. Y'all are so cute. Okay. Oh, to be 25 again. Who wants to be 25? Anybody want to be 25? So here's a question. Would you rather have $1 million or feel the way you felt at 25 for the rest of your life? Really? Oh, I would much rather feel the way I felt when I was 25. Man, I could burn up the roads running. Woo! Now I'm barely moving. I'm like, Anyway, so my friend who, her name is Aliceson Hope, and she has a great boutique in Upper East Tennessee, and every day she is popping her stories on Instagram. She's got at least 9 stories every day on Instagram, and it's her. She's cute as button, and she'll be out there wearing those little dresses, and she is just cutesy wootsy, and she sells that stuff like crazy, and she's growing like crazy. But people in one day can have 7 to 12 interactions with her, and that's one reason she's growing so much, is because she's interacting with people so much online. Whatever social media channels you're using, hey Bernie, did you see Barry? Oh, good. Okay, so, yeah, I saw he left my talk. That was my husband that left, not Bernie. This guy has an amazing farm. Are y'all on Instagram or just Facebook? Both? Okay, so their business ministry, is that fair? It is a business though now, right? Y'all are selling stuff, right? Okay, so it's Farming for Hunger, the number 4, Farming for Hunger. I hope everybody will follow him if you're not following him already. I didn't mean to call you out for leaving. Y'all go ahead. I'll see you later. He is amazing. That man is doing unbelievable work for God's kingdom and putting great food in people's mouths also. But I hope that you're farming for the number 4 hunger. You will not believe what he's doing, and then maybe you can find him tomorrow. They're going to be here all weekend. But anyway, they're from Maryland. He's an amazing guy. Anyway, I saw him leaving, and we hadn't connected, and I knew he was going to be here, and he lives in Maryland, so we don't see him very often. So anyway, whatever social media channel you're using, the goal is always to drive people to you and your website, because social media is not perfect, but it is free. We're going to talk about the top social media sites right now. Facebook has a lot of users, okay? Men, mostly men, use Facebook. Facebook is the 3rd most visited website in the world, and you can be on there for free. For free. People are 53% more likely to buy from businesses they can message and who message them back. And if you want to do ads, you can target your audience on Facebook by age, gender, and location. We have not done a Facebook ad in several years. We used to do them every once in a while, and quite frankly, we didn't think that it was worth it. We never got that much business from it, so we didn't do them. But it's also the most liked and most trusted social media platform. Instagram has a lot of people using it, less than Facebook. But what you will see about Instagram is that it is still growing, and there's a 58% more engagement per follower rate on Instagram versus Facebook. So you're going to get more interaction with people on Instagram, more meaningful interaction. 90% of Instagram users follow businesses they know and trust. So make sure people know you and make sure people trust you. If you are authentic, if you are transparent, if you are answering questions, if you are interacting with people, they're going to become your customers. And then posting on Wednesday and Thursday will give you more of a reach. Now, I'm going to flop over here. This next slide, I just put that in to show you that men, if you will advertise to men on Instagram, over half the time they'll buy your product. But what I wanted you to see is this is the latest. This is as of 2 weeks ago. This is the latest algorithm for Instagram. That is when you get the most reach with your posts. And if you have a business profile on Instagram, you can go into your advanced settings. I can show you how to do it later if you don't know how to do it. Even I know how to do it. And if I know how to do it, anybody knows how to do it. Anybody can do it. But you go into advanced settings and you can schedule your posts, and you'll have great reach. With Instagram, the most reach on Instagram is, do y'all know Reels? Everybody doing the Reels? And the most reach is through Reels with people with accounts less than 5,000 followers. So that's probably most people here. YouTube is interesting because it's a social media platform, but it's not really used that way. It's used as a search engine. And COVID really changed YouTube because, and I think that it may change again. It may change, entertainment again because of this writer's strike that's still going on. So there's not a lot of new TV coming out, new streaming shows coming out. And because of that, you got people like us who are putting little videos on YouTube. I will say, okay, so, this is going to be hard for y'all to believe, but I am not a model. And I am also not a professional actress. I know that's hard to believe. And I have some videos on something else that's going to wow the audience. It's arm roasts. Isn't that exciting? Arm roast videos. I have 2 arm roast videos. And one I did years ago before we had mics, before we had lapel mics. And so they're just kind of, you can't really hear me too well. And people say, we can't hear you. Do another one. So I did another one. It's like 18 or 20,000 views on this middle-aged woman who's talking about arm roasts on YouTube, and people watch it. So it can work for you. YouTube can really work for you if you are kind of in a market that you can educate people on. People really, really want to learn. No matter what your product is, you're really selling a relationship between your customer and you. So interact with them. You should be using some of these online channels, drawing their attention, making them go to your website, pushing them to your website, okay? Your relationship with the customer is your product, and whatever your brand identity and your online presence, your goal is to prioritize great customer service. Relationship, relationship, relationship. Okay. So then once you've got people to your website from social media, you need to be capturing their emails for your email subscriber list. That's a way that you can strengthen your relationship. Your customers need to hear from you. More people use email than any online social media channel, okay? So send your emails. Grow your subscriber list. Send your emails. The latest algorithms show that you should ideally be emailing your subscribers 10 to 19 emails per month. Ann, do you do that? Do you have I'm sure you've got an email subscriber list. Yeah, I send out, it's on my farm, it's me, it's my husband, it's my son. So there's no way I'm getting 10 to 19 emails per month. I'll send like one out every 3 weeks. So I should do more. But according to research, the average return on investment is $36 for every dollar spent in email marketing. And it takes $1 in marketing to maintain customers and $18 to get new customers. So what that all means is you can use email marketing for you and to work well. I will say when we don't offer half beef, quote unquote half beef, very much anymore. Now it's bundles. We've moved everybody to bundles, and I have a whole reason for that, which we'll talk about. We can do that later. But anyway, I will say when we send out emails about, hey, we've got a half beef, within 30 minutes we are filled. We cannot take any more orders, and so that's tens of thousands of dollars that we, with one email that we've made. So email marketing, I'm telling you, don't just sell. I mean, you also need to remind them that you care about them and that you're in a relationship with them, but you personalize that email, you give them a call to action, and you will see a return on your investment. Okay, blogging is another great way to reach customers. Blogging's not dead. WordPress records 20 billion blog views per month this year. So people think blogging is dead, but it's not. It's very beneficial for niche markets like raw milk or regenerative agriculture. Your blogs need to be at least 500 words, at least, to show up on the search engines, but you should shoot for 2,000 words, and you should be doing it twice a month. About every 3 weeks, probably. Call to action. Give people something to do. Listen to this podcast. Click here to buy these products. I'm going to be delivering them on Friday. Click. Podcasting. Everybody's podcasting. You probably should too. It's easy. If I can do it, anybody can do it. But the big thing about podcasting that's interesting is you are reaching a market that is not really targeted very much. You're reaching especially 35-year-olds all the way up. But the great majority of podcast listeners are 35 to 54, okay? And then 55 plus. So you're looking at 35 and older. That's 51 plus, that's 72% of the population. 72% of them are listening to it. Their podcasts are easily recorded. They're easily monetized if you want to do that. And they can be dropped for free if you're so inclined. The frequency is up to you, but you do need to be consistent with it. You can't do all the things all the time. These are things we don't currently do. We don't do farmers markets. I said that Saturday mornings are the one day that I can sit in my robe and drink my coffee and watch Anna Garten on TV. And no one will take that away from me. My family schedule, my husband travels a lot. My son, he runs cross country. He's played basketball. He's played soccer. He's played tennis. Everything's on Saturday morning, right? As I said earlier, people generally don't look for frozen meat at a farmer's market. There's no way that I can make as much money as I do in my pop-up shops. And so I don't do farmers markets I don't do farmers markets, period. Not anymore, period. Shipping was a complete and utter disaster for us for shipping perishable products. If you can find a way to ship, that's great. We tried. We went with a big company. We signed a big contract for a year, and still they didn't get it right. And they would pick up on time, but they could not deliver on time. And when you have frozen steaks and they're supposed to be delivered at Tuesday at 9 o'clock and they're delivered Friday at 4 p.m., guess what? And they're delivered to a person's home, not a business. Well, sorry for your luck. Sorry, there's nothing we can do about that. So we don't ship perishable products. We also don't do a whole lot of wholesale. We don't do social media channels that our ideal customers don't use, like Snapchat. Everything that you do, you need to be looking at where's my balance? Where's my balance? I'm time out versus money in. Time out versus money in, like the farmers markets. Am I going to be there for 9 hours and I'm bringing in $125, or am I going to be at a pop-up for 1 hour and I'm bringing in $1,000? You got to look at it. So my final thoughts are, you can do this. You're probably already providing products to your family, so why not scale your products and maybe add a few more products to make a profit and monetize what you are already doing. Make this work for you. You can do it. I'm the laziest person that I know. Truly, I am lazy. And if I can make a profit in agriculture, you can. You can. I promise. Know your market. Get products out there that people want, and you can do it. A life in agriculture can be fulfilling, peaceful, energizing, wholesome, relaxing, encouraging, edifying, joyful, and life-sustaining if you make it work for you. You have to make it work for you. You have to remember that you need a life too. You cannot stay on the farm 100% of the time. You may think you can when you start and you're so excited, but then there's going to be bad things happen and you're going to get really discouraged, and you need to go, oh yeah, I got to go back and look at those questions that we asked and answered that one weekend. And I need to be thinking about what will work and what won't work. Don't try to do it all. You will burn out. Do what works for you. Comparison is the thief of joy. I'm going to say that again. Comparison is the thief of joy, people. Whether you're talking about what you look like in a bathing suit, or whether you're talking about the wrinkles on your forehead, or whether you're talking about your agriculture. Comparison is the thief of joy. Don't worry about what somebody else is doing. Do your thing, not theirs. Things will go wrong, and when they go wrong, remember what you learned here. Go back to those questions and the answers. Remember why you chose this life. Revisit your answers, your dreams, and your goals. Be encouraged. And tomorrow, go see Ann, in Tent B at 10:30. 10:30 at Tent B. She's going to show you everything. So I laid the foundation. She's going to take it from here, and she's going to show you specifically how to grow a business. She is doing it. She's doing it the right way. She's amazing. So make sure you go see her at 10:30, Tent B, okay? If you've got questions, I may have answers. So come and find me. And I'm going to be over there I'm going to be over there with Temple Grandin and Joel Salatin. We've got books and stuff over there, so I'll be there. And my husband's playing tonight, so I'm going to be here. And I don't want to see him again. I mean, honestly, I'm kidding. I do. Here's a QR code. I'm kind of hipping with it. I did a QR code, so you can scan that, I think, and it should go to our website. So anyway, but questions? I have never found those to be super helpful because most of the time people won't fill them out, number one. If they're short enough to where people will fill them out, they're not going to give you useful information. And if they're long enough to where they will give you useful information, people won't do them. That's what I've found. Yeah. Yep.
So you think, even if you're just starting out,
That your boys should do chickens, yes. Eggs, yeah.
just trying to make money, that it's okay to say no to some people. Not your ideal customer.
Yes. So this is Erin Turner. She's at the farm at Spring Creek, and we had a customer. I had a customer that, and Erin told me that it was okay for me to fire her. She wanted to have beef that was processed without any. She wanted nothing but water when the beef was being processed. So, like, nothing to clean the instruments, nothing. And I was like, well, you need to, like, we're USDA inspected and certified, everything that we do, because we're in restaurants and grocery stores. And I was like, well, I can't do that. And she went on and on about why she was right and I was wrong. And, she was like, well, you should just be able to clean those beef with water, with a water hose, and it'll be fine. And I was like, well, not me. Like, if you want to do that, then you need to process your own animals on your farm. So I was telling Erin about her, and Erin said, fire her. So I did. So I said, I won't be able, I very politely said, listen, I appreciate it, but you can't be my customer. I cannot ask my butcher to not use any cleaning products in his USDA inspected facility. That's crazy. That's crazy. So anyway, okay. Anybody else? Oh yeah.
How do you find a pop-up shop? What kind of places?
We have done it in several places. If you have a little boutique in your town, like we have this little place in town, it's called the Greenhouse. And the Greenhouse is spectacular. It is a greenhouse, but it's also this little like home shop. And it's a locally owned place, and they're happy for us to come, especially if I give them a whole chicken and a dozen eggs. So, and it's worth it. If I'm going to make $1,200 in an hour, it's worth it for me to give her, $30 or $40 in product. Nope. No. And especially if you go at the end of the day, because guess what? Guess who's coming in there? Yeah. We did one with them. The very first one we did, we actually did a cookbook signing, and they say that was their most successful day of business ever. Was when we did, and we stayed open later, and so they were able to capture everything. It was easy to capture that information because the store was closed. So everything they took in was from that pop-up cookbook signing, and that was like 2 years ago, and they say that's the business that they've ever done.
Do you have to make your own sound so good online that you've never had any customers just build that because they have a relationship with you online, or how does that happen?
Yeah, once they see you online and they're like, oh yeah, I see. Oh, it's 5 o'clock. She's out there taking care of her animals. Oh, it's 7 o'clock. She's out there taking care of the animals. Oh gosh, that's hard. Oh, wow. Look at what she's doing. Look at how well she's doing. Look at her animals thriving. And then they will go, well, let's try it. Let's just buy one chicken. We're just going to get one chicken. And then you say, oh, I'm going to show you how to do a whole chicken. We're going to do this whole chicken. It's going to be this buttermilk chicken. It's so easy. And they do it and they go, oh, that's the easiest thing I've ever done. And then they eat it and they go, oh my gosh, that's the best chicken I've ever had. They're going to come back to you next week and buy 2 chickens. And then 2 weeks, they're going to buy 4 chickens. And then you've got beef too? I didn't know that. Oh, you got pork chops? Yeah, let me have some pork chops. Yeah, we have to, everything goes to a USDA processor for us, everything. No, nothing that, no. I am lazy. Like, I don't think that you really believed me. You must not have believed me when I said I am lazy. I'm not, but also I don't want, like when we started, I told my husband, I was like, I don't want to buy an inspected meat. I just don't. Like, if I don't know that you're really clean, then I don't know that so I wouldn't ask anybody to do that from me, but once we started down that road of grocery stores and restaurants, you have to be USDA inspected. And it's worth it. It was worth it for us to go ahead and do that. And now we just keep it going. But it was worth it for us. I mean, even our eggs were USDA certified, and that was a pain. But it was worth it because our business was, growing so much. So, but it's that balance. Time in, money, money in, time out, money in. I mean, you gotta.
Do you see any negative things or publicly with your family or activities all online? That's my one thing.
No, maybe I'm an egomaniac. No, I'm not. I don't think I am. I hope I'm not. Am I? Okay. Anyway, no, not really. I mean, when my son was little, I don't push my personal Instagram ever. It's not. Now it is public, but it used to be private because I was like, what if somebody comes and snatches him? But now I'm like, he's 16. He can fight him off. Number one. Number two, who's going to want a 16-year-old boy? I mean, they kind of, sometimes they got a little attitude. But I mean, he's running too, so he's pretty quick. He can outrun him. But no, I don't see anything. But now my husband is also a musician, and some people know him, and like in certain crowds, I guess people would say he's well known. So I guess I've just always done that since we've been married. Yeah, but it is something you have to think about. Aaron, you've got little boys. Do you all see any negatives?
I mean, I don't put a ton of stuff about them on there, but I mean, I will share little snippets every now and then.
Yeah.
Or website and Facebook.
Yeah.
I also try to focus more on what the farm's doing. I mean, it happens to involve.
Right. Yeah, you tell your story of your farm, and I think that's something to think about. Like, tell the story of the farm, and it is lovely to see kids in agriculture. So I haven't seen any real negative. No, if I only had a certain amount of time, if I had a very limited amount of time, I would do website. I'd hit it hard. I would put, on my business card, my business card would be a QR code. You can do that on a business card now. You don't even have to have a business card now. Just have a QR code, yeah. And you're just flipping it to people, and they're going and they're seeing, and then build your email list. Because that's where that's where you will monetize the most, in my opinion, is an email list. And then with your email list, if your website is really good, your email list, if your website is good, you can get it to where the landing page is, give us your email. And people are pretty okay with that now. I mean, a couple of people are like, eh. But then you could also say, give us your email, and when they give you your email, just have them give you their zip code. And then you can say, if you're using MailChimp, you can easily put them into categories with MailChimp and say, oh, this person, we have in East Tennessee, we have Greenville, Kingsport, Johnson City, Bristol, Knoxville, Nashville, out of area. So if I'm going to do something about a pop-up shop in Greenville, I just put it to Greenville, and then within an hour. I don't put it to Nashville, I don't put it to out of area. So you can easily do that. Yeah. Anything else? Oh, yeah. Yep. Come over here, baby. Come over here, you cute young thing. Gosh, it was back further than I thought. This one? Or the other one? Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's a little bit of a breeze now, right? Praise Jesus. Yeah. Did you have a question? Oh yeah. Praise Jesus. Isn't that just like the Lord? We have a friend that if anything good happens, he'll say, isn't that just like the Lord? Isn't that just like the Lord? And now I say it to my husband all the time. I'm like, oh yeah, of course.